Okay, let's unpack this deep dive. Our sources take us into, well, one of the most intense theological arguments ever recorded, really, the Book of Job.
Absolutely. High drama, high theology.
And we're jumping right into the thick of it, the final agonizing moments of this debate between Job and his three friends. The established ones.
It's such a crucial pivot point. The sources really emphasize this. Just when you think the main argument is winding down, bang, a new character shows up.
And completely changes the game.
Yeah, it changes the whole framework. So our mission, yours and ours, is to figure out not just who this Elihu guy is, but what's this new truth he brings? Why now?
Because conventional wisdom, from the three friends, it just hit a wall.
Exactly. And this unexpected voice, it just shifts the whole premise. It's fascinating.
Okay, so set the scene. Job has just wrapped up chapter 31, this incredible passionate defense, an oath of innocence.
Yeah, he's basically listing all the things the friends accused him of and saying, nope, didn't do it. He's claiming he's clean.
And then he throws down this gauntlet to God himself, right? Like, vindicate me or judge me. He wants an answer. Now.
He really does, and that's where everything just stops. Job 32, verse 1. It describes this great stalemate.
The three friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, Zophar, they just stop talking.
Yeah.
After all that back and forth.
They stop. Completely.
Why? Why the sudden silence?
Well, the text says it's because they saw Job as righteous in his own eyes. Self-righteous.
So they felt like we can't win this argument with him.
Pretty much. He wasn't accepting their premise that he must have sinned terribly, so they just shut down, couldn't break through his defense.
But what's really striking, as you said, is the other silence.
Yes. God also stays silent. No lightning bolt, no booming voice from heaven saying, Job, you're wrong.
Which kind of pulls the rug out from under the friends' whole argument, doesn't it?
Completely. Their logic was, terrible suffering must mean terrible sin, judged by God. But God's silence offers no evidence against Job at this point.
So you've got this silence on earth from the friends, silence from heaven. The argument's ground to a halt. The air must be thick with tension.
You can imagine, just waiting. And then?
A new voice. Someone speaks up from the crowd. This is where it gets really interesting.
This is Elihu. He steps forward, and the sources suggest he wasn't, front and center before this.
Like an observer.
Yeah, maybe a quiet figure, perhaps overlooked. The text even notes how he has to explain his family background, his lineage in detail.
So people even knew who he was.
Exactly. It's like establishing his credentials. He represents maybe the younger generation, the new recruit, watching the old guard fail to resolve things.
Now, when he starts talking, does he just pile on? Is he friend number 4?
That's what you might expect. And look, some of his words, some phrases might sound a bit like the others, but, and this is crucial for you listening, his objective is fundamentally different.
Okay, different how?
The three friends, their whole goal was basically legalistic. They wanted to prove Job was a sinner, find the crime to fit the punishment.
Right, cause effect.
Elihu's goal, it's deeper, it's theological. He wants to prove that Job's understanding of God, his view of how God operates, is wrong.
So not you did this wrong, but you're thinking about God wrong.
Precisely. He's aiming for a correction of theology, trying to counter Job's despair about God's justice, not just slap him with a guilty verdict.
That is a monumental shift. It changes the entire nature of the conversation.
It really does. And by doing that, he introduces this vital new idea, this new truth that challenges everything the others assumed.
Which is?
Simply put, suffering sent by God is not necessarily punishment for a specific sin.
Wow. Okay, that breaks the ironclad equation the friends were using. Suffering to sin.
Punishment, it shatters it. And if suffering isn't just payback, Elihu suggests it has other purposes. 2 main ones, actually.
Okay, let's hear them. What's the first?
First, suffering can be preventative.
Preventative. How so?
God might use hardship, difficulties, pain even, not because of what you did, but to keep you from committing some greater sin or error in the future.
Huh. So it's like a guardrail. It's not about settling past debts, but about protecting your future path.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from looking backward at guilt to looking forward. What is God trying to steer me away from? Or how is this making me better prepared?
Okay, that's one. What's the second function?
The second is correction or development, making us better people.
So less about stopping bad things, more about building good things.
Right. Suffering as a tool for actively shaping us, refining our character, deepening our wisdom or patience or dependence on God. It's like spiritual training. It's meant to grow us.
And what's really interesting, the sources point out, these aren't just Elihu's random ideas.
Yeah.
They echo through Scripture.
They absolutely do. And knowing this helps connect the dots, It shows this wasn't just some strange idea in Job. The Apostle Paul, for instance, seems to align perfectly with that preventative idea.
His thorn in the flesh.
Exactly. He writes about it in 2 Corinthians, given to him, he says, to keep him from becoming conceited because of his revelations. It was preventative.
Okay. And the corrective idea?
Think about the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. The author talks about hardship as divine discipline, training us for holiness and righteousness. It fits right into that corrective developmental function Elihu described.
So if we pull this together for you listening, Elihu essentially changes the question. It's not what crime led to this sentence.
Right.
It becomes, what is God teaching or doing through this experience? It's a shift from like a courtroom to a classroom almost.
That's a great way to put it. From legal judgment to divine pedagogy, divine teaching, Job was trapped in this rigid system where suffering had to be punitive. Elihu opens a door.
Maybe its purpose is pedagogical.
Okay, but here's the thing. If Elihu's view is so much closer to the truth, maybe even setting the stage for God's eventual answer, why does Job seem so irritated by him? Why doesn't Elihu's speech just resolve everything?
Yeah, that's the crucial nuance, isn't it? Because Elihu, while closer to the mark, still doesn't have the whole picture. He's not quite there yet.
So he's better than the three friends, but still missing something. Exactly. His insight that suffering isn't always punishment is vital. It's way better than the friends' rigid legalism. But he still kind of struggles to fully articulate the why and how beyond a certain point.
What does he struggle with?
He explains the corrective purpose, but maybe he can't fully detach it from human merit or understanding. He doesn't quite grasp the sheer sovereignty of God that will be revealed later, the idea that God acts sometimes simply because he is God, beyond our neat little formulas.
So Elihu might still frame it a bit transactionally, like God uses suffering to achieve X result in you, but he misses the bigger picture of God's ultimate freedom and mystery.
That seems to be part of it. He breaks the old legal framework, but maybe replaces it with a slightly more sophisticated, but still somewhat transactional pedagogical framework. It's an improvement, a huge one, but it doesn't fully capture the divine whirlwind that's coming.
And for Job,
Yeah.
imagine, he's just poured out his soul in chapter 31. He's utterly exhausted. The old guard finally shuts up. Maybe he feels a moment of relief, of silence.
And then this younger guy pipes up, starts a whole new line of argument, complex points, and it still doesn't fully exonerate him or give him the direct answer from God he craves. You can see why he'd be irritated.
Yeah, the timing is rough. This actually brings us to a really relatable point. The sources highlight using an analogy from, like, the workplace.
Oh, the office rookie analogy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about that. How does it connect to Job and Elihu?
Well, think about experienced professionals, right? The veterans. Sometimes a new recruit, maybe younger, less experienced on paper, comes in with a fresh perspective or a different idea.
And how do the veterans often react?
Often with dismissal, right? What do you know? I've been doing this for 30 years. There's that resistance based on perceived experience and status.
Job might be feeling a bit like that veteran. He's lived this suffering, he's debated the greatest minds, and now this kid steps up to lecture him.
Exactly. There's that human element. And the insight from the source is profound. It takes a truly broad, open mind to accept valuable input when it comes from an unexpected source. Someone maybe without the right credentials or seniority.
We tend to protect our own position, don't we? Sometimes by pushing the other person's view to an extreme to make ours look better.
Definitely. Like those divisions in the early church, I follow Paul, no, I follow Apollos. Trying to find validation by dismissing the other side.
And the sources warn against letting that subjective feeling, I'm exhausted, I'm the expert, he's too young, close us off.
Right. We have to maintain a learning attitude. Job was right in his claim of innocence regarding those specific sins, but his theology, his understanding of God's ways was still incomplete, and in its despair, becoming rigid. He needed Elihu's correction, even if the messenger of the timing was, well, irritating.
So pulling it all together, we've seen Elihu emerge from the background. He's the quiet observer who finally speaks up.
Not to condemn Job's actions like the others,
but to correct his theology, introducing this new truth that suffering isn't just punitive, it can be preventative or developmental.
And in doing that, he really does pave the way. He sets the stage for God's own appearance. He provides that missing conceptual piece that allows the conversation to move beyond the deadlock.
He fulfilled a vital role, even if he didn't have the final word, and even if Job found him annoying at the time.
Absolutely. His intervention was necessary, successful in shifting the debate.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a really interesting question to chew on, doesn't it?
It does.
Think about Job. He's at his limit. Mentally, emotionally drained. He just wants closure, an answer, maybe just silence.
Yeah, peace.
And instead, he gets Elihu, bringing new information, a perspective that's actually closer to the truth, more helpful. But it's still more talking, more complexity, when all he wants is rest.
So the question becomes, how do you balance that? Your own very real, very human need for rest, for silence, for things to just stop for a minute.
Against the arrival of necessary truth. Against potentially valuable, even crucial new information that comes at you when you feel least able to process it.
And how do you keep your mind open, truly open, when you feel like you've already made your case, defended your position perfectly, but the universe, or maybe just an unexpected voice, keeps suggesting there's another angle, a third way you haven't considered?
That willingness to listen, even when exhausted, even when irritated, even when it comes from the rookie. Maybe that's the real challenge Elihu presents to us.
I think it is. It's a challenge about humility and the ongoing process of learning, isn't it? Even in the midst of suffering.